The estimated number of reported traffic accidents that occurred in the United States in 2021 was 6.10 million. The safety of the caller and bystanders at a traffic incident is a critical concern. Traffic accidents can present unexpected, unseen dangers that may not be clear to the caller or bystander. Bystanders and responders have been killed or injured by passing traffic. PDIs do not direct callers to return to the scene, try to reach a victim, look for wave down emergency vehicles. High-velocity impacts are defined in cases where there is evidence to suggest critical injuries from high-speed incidents, including, but not limited to, head-on collisions, T-bone collisions, or vehicles that have struck a motorcycle, pole, tree, wall, or semi-truck. This does not mean that every one of these described incidents needs to be coded as a high-velocity impact, but rather needs to be justified to a vehicle that was T-boned in a parking lot most likely wouldn't produce critical injuries, whereas a semi-truck colliding with a non-commercial vehicle at any speed could cause major damage and critical injuries. If the description suggests the possibility of critical injuries based on that specific mechanism, err on the side of the patient. When taking calls for an MVA, the call taker must ask, how many people are hurt? If known, enter the patient count number. If the answer is unknown, the call taker should enter the letter M. Working with ProQA this way skips over the need of completing case entry, with the exception being when there is only one patient. This image shows how the call will auto-populate through the rest of case entry. When you arrive at your chief complaint box, typing 29 will bring up a list for the EMD to choose from. Selecting the CC from this menu skips key question 1 on the protocol page. 1 or 2 additional controller questions will present in Protocol 29 based on the type of incident. Multiple unit response required should always be recorded as yes. Key question 3 in the shown example should only be asked when the EMD suspects chemicals or hazards. Otherwise, it should be recorded as not suspected. Protocol 29 does not require the EMD to follow the normal case exit procedure. Stop on the PDI screen and use the blue minus button in ProQA to close the call after advising the caller of all appropriate PDIs and following any appropriate DLS links. The new CEI states, do not encourage them to either exit the vehicle or remain in the vehicle. The more you know. Protocol 29 should not be used for patients hurt in an MVA who are no longer at the scene. For example, a caller that was in an MVA earlier and either refused help at the time of the crash or is having further complaints should be handled on Protocol 30.